Hello everyone. So in this video, we will look at a few problems from chapter 2 of NCERT 11th Physics part 1. So let us look at question 2.13. You can read the question on the screen. Now here, we will first write P in terms of A, B, C and D. Okay, and we will rearrange them a bit. So we have been given P is equal to A cube B square upon under square root upon under square root C multiplied by D. Okay, so we can write this as A cube B square C raised to minus 1 by 2 and D raised to minus 1. Okay, we know that if P is being represented as product of four observables, what will be error in P? Therefore, percentage error in P will be equal to, what will be this? It will be 3 into percentage error of A multiplied by plus 2 into percentage error of B plus 1 by 2 into percentage error of C plus 1 into percentage error of D. So in the question we have been given percentage error of A is 1%, percentage error of B is 3%, percentage error of C is 4% and percentage error of D is 2%. So let us substitute that. So this will be 3 into 1% plus 2 into 3% plus 1 by 2 into 4% plus 2%. So this will become 3% plus 6% plus 2% plus 2%, which is equal to 13%. So percentage error of P is 13%. What else has been asked? We have to round off value of P, which has been calculated to P is equal to 3.763. So P has been calculated to 3.763. Now first let us find error in P. So error will be error in P will be 13 upon 100 into P. So this will be 13 into 3.763 divided by 100. So here we get 13 3s are 39, 9, 13 6s are 78, 78 plus 3, 81, 1, 8, 13 7s are 91, 91 plus 8, 99, and 13 3s are 39 plus 9, 48. And we will get this value. So 13 into 3.763 upon 100 will be 0.48919. Therefore, the error is in the first decimal point. Therefore, we will be uncertain about the first decimal, the number just after the decimal point. Before that, all the digits will be certain. Therefore, significant digits are 2. Hence, we will round off P as P will be 3.8, because last digit is uncertain, which is the digit after the decimal point. After the decimal point, the error is starting, so that digit is uncertain, so we have to include it in the number of significant digits. So significant digits will be 2, so 3.8 will be the way we will round off this value of P. So this was question 2.13. Now let us look at question 2.14. Now what have we been given? We have four different formulae for displacement y of particle undergoing certain periodic motions. Now A is the displacement of the particle. So let us first write the dimensions of various variables we do know. So dimension of y. What will be dimension of y? It is displacement, so it will be L raised to 1. What will be dimension of A? Dimension of A. A again is maximum displacement of particle, so again length L raised to 1. What will be dimension of V? Speed of the particle. Dimension V is speed, so it will be length raised to 1 time raised to minus 1. Then we have time period T. Dimension time period T will be time raised to 1. And we have small t, which will be variable of time t. Dimension small t, it is also time, so it also will be t raised to 1. Now, how do we verify the formula? So, left hand side dimensions should be equal to right hand side dimensions, because dimensionally the formula has to be homogeneous, that is one and the same. And while finding sine or cos of a value, we need that value to be dimensionless, because sine cos is an angle. Angle does not come under any of the 7 fundamental quantities. It is a supplementary quantity, so it is dimensionless with respect to the fundamental quantities. Okay, so sine of the variable that we will take, that has to be dimensionless. So first we will check of which value we are taking sine or cos, and then we will verify whether the equation is homogeneous or not. So let us look at the first one. We have y is equal to a sine of 2 pi t upon t. Now see, 2 pi t upon t, let us analyze. So 2 pi t upon t. 2 pi is a constant, so dimensionless. So this is t raised to 1 and t raised to 1. So it is dimensionless. Therefore, sine of this value can be taken. It is a valid quantity. Then sine is a ratio, so it is dimensionless. LHS is L raised to 1. RHS, what is happening? Dimension of A into sine's dimension. Sine's dimension is nothing, it is dimensionless, so it is L raised to 1. Therefore, it is valid. This is valid. Okay. B, what equation do we have? Y is equal to A sine of V into T. Now let us consider V into T. So what are dimensions of V into T? V is dimension of L raised to 1, T raised to minus 1 into times dimension is T raised to 1. So this is L. So it is not dimensionless. Because it is not dimensionless, we cannot take sine of this quantity. Therefore, it is incorrect. So this formula is incorrect. Third one, what do we have here? Y is equal to A upon T sine of T upon A. Now let us evaluate T upon A. So what is T upon A? T raised to 1 upon L raised to 1. Again, it is not dimensionless. Therefore, we cannot take sine of this value. Hence, it is incorrect. Okay. And what is the fourth one? Fourth one we have y is equal to A upon root 2 sine of 2 pi t upon t plus cos of 2 pi t upon t. Okay. Now let us evaluate 2 pi t upon t. 2 pi t upon t, we know in the first a1 we have evaluated this t raised to 1 upon t raised to 1. So it is dimensionless. Because it is dimensionless, we can take sine and cos of this value. After taking sine, it is dimensionless. After taking cos, it is dimensionless. We can add two dimensionless quantities. So that is also valid. And what about the final one? LHS is L raised to 1 because LHS is y. RHS is dimension of A into 1 upon root 2, which is a constant, and into a dimensionless quantity. So this is just dimension of A, which is L raised to 1. Hence, this is valid because dimensions of LHS and RHS are same. Therefore, we can say that B and C equations are incorrect. They have printing errors, and A and D equations might be correct. We don't know whether they are fully correct. We have just checked them dimensionally, but according to dimensional analysis, B and C are totally incorrect. A and D are correct dimensionally. Okay, on dimensional grounds, B and C are incorrect. So let us move to question 2.15. Okay, so here we have famous relation in physics of moving mass m to the rest mass m naught of particle in terms of speed v and speed of light c. So let us write the dimensions of the quantities that have been given to us. So dimension of mass m will be m raised to 1. Dimension of mass m naught will also be m raised to 1. Dimension of velocity v or speed v will be length raised to 1, t raised to minus 1, and dimension of c, which is speed of light, will be again l raised to 1, t raised to minus 1. Now the boy has written the equation to be m equal to m naught upon 1 minus v square raised to 1 by 2. Now left hand side we have dimensions of just mass. LHS we just have m raised to 1. RHS also should have dimensions of mass, which are obtained from this m naught. Therefore, we should be dividing by a dimensionless quantity. And to divide by a dimensionless quantity, we need individual quantities to be dimensionless. One is already dimensionless, therefore we need to make v square dimensionless, and the easiest way to do that is to divide by c square. Therefore, v square should be changed to v square divided by c square. V square should be changed to v square divided by c square. Therefore, the new formula would be, or the correct formula, would be m is equal to m naught divided by 1 minus v square upon c square, and this raised to 1 by 2. So denominator will become dimensionless. Therefore, you are dividing mass m naught by a dimensionless quantity, which will result you in getting another mass. So now the formula is dimensionally correct. So we have guessed where to put the missing c. So it should be v square divided by c square. Now let us move to the last question that we will discuss now. which is 2.17. So what has been given? 1 mole of an ideal gas at standard temperature and pressure occupies 22.4 liters molar volume. What is the ratio of molar volume to the atomic volume of mole of hydrogen? Okay. So first one we have to write what is molar volume. So Vm, which is molar volume of hydrogen, assuming that it is an ideal gas, it has been given to be 22.4 liters. But we prefer to work in SI units. Now 1 liter is 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube. So this is 22.4 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube. So this is molar volume of hydrogen gas. Now we have been given size of hydrogen molecule to be around 1 angstrom. So diameter, we'll assume that it is the diameter, the size of the hydrogen atom. It is 1 angstrom, which is 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So it is 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So what is the radius? RH, radius of hydrogen molecule, is 1 by 2 into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So radius of hydrogen molecule is 1 by 2 into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. Therefore, volume of one molecule of hydrogen, what will it be? It will be 4 by 3 pi r cube. So this is 4 by 3 into 22 upon 7 into what is r? 1 by 2 10 to the power minus 10. So 1 by 2 cube into 10 to the power minus 10 cube. So this on simplifying will become 8 into 11 upon 21 into 1 by 8 into 10 to the power minus 3. So what did I do? I removed 2 from 22. So it became 11 into 2 and multiplied it with 4. Now easily these two 8s will get cancelled. So we will get volume to be 11 by 21 into 10 to the power minus 30 meter cube. So this is volume of one molecule of hydrogen. Now we know what is Avogadro's number. Na is equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Therefore, what will be volume of 1 mole of hydrogen molecules? Therefore, volume of 1 mole of hydrogen molecules will be VH2 will be 11 upon 21 into 10 to the power minus 30 multiplied by 1 mole of hydrogen molecule. So this is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. So this will be 11 into 2. So 6.022 into 11. So this is 6.022, 60.22. 66.242. This is 66.242 upon 21 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 7. So this is 21 3s are 63.21 1s are 21, 11, 114 means 21, 5s are 105, 92 means again 21 4s are into 10 to the power minus 7 meter cube. So this is molecular volume of 1 mole of hydrogen molecules. Okay, now we have to find the ratio. Therefore, required ratio. What is the required ratio? V Na into H2. So Vm upon Na into H2. So what is Vm? Vm is 22.4 into 10 to the power minus 3. So 22.4 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 3.154 into 10 to the power minus 7. So this will be 22.4 upon 3.154 into 10 to the power 4. So this approximately will be 7 into 10 to the power 4. So the ratio of 1 mole of hydrogen gas, and if we consider 1 mole of hydrogen molecules, is 7 into 10 to the power 4. Now you may wonder, why is there so much difference? If we had done this for, let's say, solid like iron, there would not be such a huge difference. But as you all know, hydrogen is a gas. As all of you know, hydrogen is gas at room temperature and pressure. Therefore, the molecules of hydrogen have lots of spaces in them, which is why if we consider 1 mole of hydrogen gas, we get a very large volume, as opposed to if we consider just volumes of 1 mole of hydrogen molecules. If we consider volume of just 1 mole of hydrogen molecules, we are not considering the intermolecular spaces, which are very high in gas. Therefore, we get such a huge ratio. So that is the reason. Hope you like the video. After every chapter, we will discuss a few questions. So stay tuned. Thank you everyone.